Hello, my dear students. Today, part number 2 of equivalent weights will be discussed. In particular, today we will discuss the equivalent weights of acids and bases, which is more important. First, let us consider the equivalent weight of acid and after base. Both will be, of course, interconnected. First, let us take the equivalent weight of acids. Here, equivalent weight of the acid is equal to molecular weight of the acid by basicity of the acid. Molecular weight of the acid by basicity of the acid. And here, n factor actually, that n factor here is nothing but basicity of the acid. And what is meant by basicity? Every acid will be having acidic property, every acid will be having replaceable hydrogens by a base. How many hydrogens it is having per molecule, which can be replaced by a base of OH groups? That is called its basicity of the acid. And here, basicity of the acid is equal to number of replaceable hydrogen atoms per molecule of the acid, which can be replaced by base, is called its basicity. Every acid will be containing protons. When it is dissolved in water, they have to produce protons in protons. The greater the number of protons, the greater the acidic character. That general principle you know. Now, I am taking the examples. Basicity here, that basicity monobasic or dibasic or tribasic or tetrabasic. When the acid molecule is having only one replaceable hydrogen by a base, it is monobasic acid. When the acid molecule is having two replaceable hydrogens by a base, the basicity of the acid is equal to 2. Similarly, 3 and 4. Now let us take examples for monobasic acids. Here are some examples. Monobasic acids. One is HCl, hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is also called protic acid, because here proton is directly attached to the nonmetal. That is called protic acid. And HCl, when dissolved in water, produces H plus and Cl minus ions. As it is producing H plus ions in water, it is acid, and only one H is present in the HCl molecule, which can be replaced by a base. So it is called monoacidic base. Similarly, nitric acid, chlorous acid, chloric acid, perchloric acid. This is what you call perchloric acid. This is chlorous acid. This is hypochlorous acid. HClO2, HClO3, HClO4, chlorous, chloric, perchloric. This is chlorous acid. This is chloric acid. That is perchloric acid. This is periodic acid. This is the acid of organic chemistry, acetic acid, which is a monobasic acid. And here, at this junction, I want to remind you the difference between protic acid and oxy acid. Remember clearly here, whenever OH group is attached to non-metal, whenever OH group is attached to non-metal, it is acid. Generally, whenever OH group is attached to a metal, then it becomes a base. Here you can take example, ClOH, hypochlorous acid. It is an acid. NaOH, OH group is attached to metal, it is a base. So OH group attached to non-metal is acid, OH group is attached to metal is a base. This is a general principle. And here, when ClOH is dissolved in water, it dissociates into ClO minus plus H plus. H plus is obtained in the form of a proton when dissolved in water. So this is hypochlorous acid, monobasic acid. Only one H is there, which can be replaced by a base. NaOH, you will get NaClO, sodium hypochlorite. And here, OH group attached to nonmetal, that acid is called oxyacid because hydrogen is not directly attached to nonmetal. Hydrogen is attached to nonmetal through oxygen. Such acids are called oxoacids or oxyacids. And here in this case, proton is directly attached to nonmetal, it is protic acid. So this is protic acid, all these are oxyacids. So later we will discuss the structures, of course. All these are monobasic acids. Only one replaceable hydrogen is there by a base. Similarly, let us consider the dibasic acids. In the case of dibasic acids, we are considering first one carbonic acid, second one sulfurous acid. Carbonic acid is dibasic acid, sulfurous acid is dibasic acid, H2SO4 sulfuric acid, dibasic acid. This is from organic chemistry, oxalic acid. Even you can take tartaric acid. All these are dibasic acids. Tartaric acid also is an example for dibasic acid. And here all these are nothing but oxyacids. You can take, for example, the structures. If you take just for convenience, I am writing the structures here. H2CO3, see, these two hydrogens are attached to nonmetal through oxygen. So you see OH here, and as carbon is having 4 valencies, remaining 2 will be fulfilled by oxygen. This is H2CO3. And so these are the two hydroxyl groups attached to carbon, these two will be having acidic character, so it is dibasic acid. Similarly, you can take H2SO3, S double bond O, OH, H2SO3, H2SO4, S, OH, double bond O. In this way, you can write the structures. H2C2O4, oxalic acid, C double bond O, OH, C double bond O, OH. This is oxalic acid. OH groups are attached to carbon. And so all these are dibasic acids, and these are nothing but the structural aspects. In all these cases, OH groups are directly attached to non-metal. And so all these are dibasic acids. Similarly, we can take tribasic acids. In these cases, tribasic acids, we are taking examples, phosphoric acid, S3PO4, this is a well-known example for tribasic acid. Arsenous acid, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, same group, fifth group, they will be having the acids and nick acids. This is the phosphoric acid, H3PO4. This is H3SO3 arsenous acid, H3SbO3 antimonous acid. All these are nothing but the tribasic acids. And here, if you want to represent the structure of tribasic acid, all the 3 hydrogens attached to phosphorus will be through oxygens. And that is why it is a tribasic acid. For example, we can write the structure here like this. Phosphorus, 1 OH, second OH, third OH, one more oxygen remains there that will be connected to phosphorus through double bond. This is the structure of phosphoric acid. Here 3 OH groups are attached to phosphorus, so it is having 3 replaceable hydrogens. All the 3 OH groups will be releasing H plus ions and dissolved in water, and that is why this is phosphoric acid, which is an example or best example for tribasic acid. Similarly, you can take tetrabasic acid. Tetrabasic acid is a phosphorus oxide series. Here this is H4P2O7. It is tetrabasic acid. All the 4 hydrogens will be having acidic character because these will be attached to 2 phosphorus units by 2 OH groups. OH group, OH group, OH group, OH group, 4 OH groups will be attached to phosphorus units, and that is why pyrophosphoric acid is the best example for tetrabasic acids. In this way, you can consider the monobasic acids, dibasic acids, tribasic acids, and tetrabasic acids as examples. Now, let us consider some examples here to calculate the electron weight of acids. First, let us consider monobasic acids. The base is equal to 1. So, here the electron weight is equal to directly molecular weight. For example, I am taking here for monobasic acids HCl first of all. Acronate of HCl is equal to molecular weight by BCD, molecular weight by 1. Molecular weight is equal to 36.5 for HCl. So acronate weight is equal to molecular weight, 36.5. Even in the case of nitric acid, it is also monobasic acid. Only one is present attached to nitrogen through oxygen. It is an oxy acid. And E of HNO3 is equal to molecular weight 63 by BCD is equal to 1. 63 by 1 is equal to 63. So in the case of monobasic acids, acronate weight is equal to molecular weight. Next, the peculiarity arises when you consider the dibasic acids. Situation is entirely different here. In the case of dibasic acids, acronate weight of the dibasic acid is equal to, generally BCD is 2, thereby you have to write M by 2. Molecular weight by 2. You have to write here molecular weight by 2. Here also molecular weight by 1. Generally this is accepted because BCD is 2. But in the examination you have to write the acronate weight basing on the nature of the equation mentioned there. So here whenever the molecular weight by 2 is the answer, it may be having the acronate weight by m by 1 also, molecular weight by 1 also. How is it obtained? You have to know the fact that acronate weight varies with the nature of the equation, neutralization reaction that is taking place here. Every acid reacts with the base, leading to the formation of salt and water, you know pretty well. And this is nothing but the neutralization reaction. H plus of the acid, OH minus of the base combine to give the undissolved water molecules, and the remaining parts combine to give the salt, which is generally soluble in water. And so now we are taking one example with sulfuric acid. Here 2 hydrogens are there, replaceable hydrogens. So you have to take 2 OH minus ions. That means you have to take 2 moles. And so in this case, 2 moles of sodium hydroxide, 2 NaOH combined with H2SO4 will give you Na2SO4, which is salt, sodium sulfate salt plus 2H2O. This is also important for the examination point of view. 2 hydrogens are replaced by 2 OH minus ions. In this place 2 Na ions are obtained. So as the basicity of the acid proved in this equation is 2, so here in this case molecular weight by 2 is the acronate weight of sulfuric acid in this particular example. Specifically if it is given like this, you have to write molecular weight by 2, that is equal to 98 by 2 is equal to 49 is the acronate sulfuric acid molecular is equal to 98. 98 by 2, that is equal to 49. That is the acronate weight. Always one acronate weight of the acid reacts with one acronate of the base to give you salt and water. But here if you take 2 moles of the base is reacting with 1 mole of the acid giving you products. This is the mole concept, 2:1 ratio. But if you take into consideration acronate ratio, that will be 1:1. 2 moles means 2 into 40 here you have to get. 2 into 40 grams of sodium hydroxide is reacting with 98 grams of sulfuric acid 1 mole. And thereby 40 grams of sodium hydroxide react with how much? Only 49 grams. 40 grams, 1 acronate weight of sodium hydroxide. 49, 1 acronate weight of sulfuric acid. 1 acronate weight of sodium hydroxide reacts with only with 1 acronate weight of sulfuric acid. Acronate ratio is always 1:1 when you take complete balanced equation. So this is the case. Apart from that, you can take in another way partial neutralization. You are not supplying sufficient amount of sodium hydroxide. So here partial neutralization is taking place here in this case. Sodium hydroxide is reacting with sulfuric acid. And so here 1H is replaced to give sodium bisulfate, NaHSO4. 1H still remains here. And the product is sodium bisulfate plus H2O. As only 1H is replaced by OH, its basicity in this reaction is equal to 1. And thereby, in this case, E of sulfuric acid is equal to molecular weight by 1. Basicity here is equal to 1. And so this is equal to 98. So here molecular weight is equal to acronate weight because 1H is not utilized here. But if you take sodium bisulfate, still further it reacts sodium hydroxide giving you sodium sulfate. That is different. And here, this is the salt, this is also salt. One peculiar situation once again arises here. Which of the following is acidic salt? Which of the following is basic salt? Which of the following is neutral salt or normal salt? Like this you may ask. Here in this case sodium sulfate, this is obtained by complete neutralization. There is no more hydrogen to replace. So this is called normal salt. In the case of sodium bisulfate, this salt is still having the hydrogen ion of sulfuric acid part. When sodium bisulfate is made to react with sodium bisulfate is made to react with sodium hydroxide, what happens here? This H replaced by OH, and so you will get here Na2SO4 plus H2O. Still this salt is having replaceable hydrogen. That means this salt is acidic salt. In that way, you will be having salts from acids. Those salts may be normal salts, complete neutralization. If it is partial neutralization, that salt will become acidic salt. This is the best understanding for this. Next, let us consider tribasic acids to consider the neutralization. Now let us consider tribasic acids. Namely, most important example is phosphoric acid. In the case of tribasic acid, the equivalent of the acid is equal to molecular weight by 3 or molecular weight by 2 or molecular weight by 1. One among the three. It depends upon the type of or mode of neutralization reaction represented there. Phosphoric acid is having 3 replaceable hydrogens, or all the 3 replaceable hydrogens may be removed at a time in one reaction. That is what you call complete neutralization. Or one hydrogen is removed or 2 hydrogens are removed, they are nothing but partial neutralizations. Now let us consider the first one. Phosphoric acid is treated with sodium hydroxide, 1 mole here, 1 mole here. Only one hydrogen is taken away by OH minus ions. It is converted into NaH2BO2 PO4. NaH2BO4. Na plus H2BO4 minus plus H2O. This is dihydrogen phosphate ion and sodium ion. This is sodium dihydrogen phosphate. Still, these two hydrogens can be replaced by OH groups. Replaceable hydrogen still this salt is having. And so, this salt is an example for acidic salt. And here, only one hydrogen is replaced. So, basicity in this case is equal to 1. Only one H is replaced. And so, account of the acid is equal to molecular weight by 1. That is 98 by 1 is equal to 98. 98 is the molecular weight of phosphoric acid, just like sulfuric acid. And in this case, second one, neutralization 1 second taking place, but 2 hydrogens are replaced by 2 OH groups here. And so, in the place of 2 hydrogens, 2 sodium ions will be coming there. The salt formed is Na2HBO4 plus 2H2O, disodium hydrogen phosphate. This is also a salt. But still this salt is having one replaceable hydrogen by OH. So, this is also an example for acidic salt. And here, as 2 hydrogens are replaced by OH groups, the basicity in this particular reaction is equal to 2. And so, equivalent to the acid is equal to molecular by 2, 98 by 2 is equal to 49. In the last one, this is the complete neutralization where phosphoric acid is reacted with 3 moles of NaOH, and here 3 hydrogens will be completely taken away by 3 OH minus ions. Complete neutralization taking place, and you are getting sodium phosphate Na3BO4 plus H2O. And here there is no replaceable hydrogen present in this salt because it is formed by complete neutralization. And so this salt is called normal salt. And of course, what is the equivalent weight? Here, the basicity of the acid in this case is equal to 3, and therefore, equivalent weight of the acid is equal to molecular weight by 3, that is equal to 98 by 3 is equal to 32.66. In the case of phosphorus acids, more interestingly, you have to note the structures. In the case of phosphorus acid, H3BO2, H3BO3, H3BO4. One is monobasic acid, other one is dibasic acid, third one is tribasic acid. And from this we will get the normal salts as well as acidic salts. In what we have to recognize, just for a few seconds, we will discuss the structures of these oxides of phosphorus just for 5 minutes to know the normal salt and acidic salt, which is more useful in examination. I am considering the oxides of phosphorus just for a while. H3BO2, H3BO3, H3BO4. Basicity of the acid, here 1, here 2, here 3. Of course, these are nothing but oxyacids. These are nothing but oxyacids. Just a structural representation here. When you are writing oxyacid structure for phosphorus, first of all you have to give one priority to one oxygen to phosphorus linkage priority. This is the first one. How many oxygens remain there? Only one O. And that O will be carrying the H. What about the remaining two hydrogens? Directly attached to phosphorus. And here the OH group is attached to non-metal is acidic. But the H hydrogens which are attached directly to phosphorus, these are not acidic. Of course, chlorine attached, H attached to chlorine, that is able to give because of electronegativity. That is different. And here, in this case, phosphorus acid. This is what you call hypophosphorus acid. Hypophosphorus acid. In this case, only one OH group is there, and so replaceable hydrogen is only one. So its basicity is equal to 1. In the case of phosphorus acid, this is phosphorus acid. In this case structure, first of all you have to give one oxygen to phosphorus through double bond O. Still there remains two oxygens. Those two oxygens like this. Every oxygen will be carrying one H each. Still one H remains. That H is directly attached to phosphorus. This is not acidic because that is directly linked to phosphorus. These two hydrogens are acidic. These two hydrogens are acidic. And so this is dibasic acid. And in the last one, phosphoric acid. Already we discussed it. Phosphorus, one O is given to phosphorus through double bond O. Still there remains three oxygens. Three oxygens will be carrying three hydrogens. And so there is no hydrogen left there. All the three OH groups are present to phosphorus, and these three OH groups will be having acidic character, and that is why it is treated as tribasic acid. This is the structural aspect. And here, if you take sodium hydroxide, you will get NaH2PO2, sodium dihydrogen hypophosphite. Sodium dihydrogen hypophosphite. These two hydrogens are not acidic. And so, this is normal salt. And if you take here, 1 H is replaced by sodium, NaH2PO3. Other hydrogen also replaced by sodium, Na2HPO3. This is still having one replaceable hydrogen, so this is acidic salt. And this hydrogen cannot be replaced because it is directly attached to phosphorus, no acidic character, and so this is normal salt. Similarly, you can take here phosphoric acid, all the three hydrogens will be successfully replaced. You will get here NaH2PO4, Na2HPO4, Na3PO4. And so this sodium phosphate is not having any acidic hydrogen. It is normal salt. This is known as normal salt. And in these two salts, sodium dihydrogen phosphate, disodium hydrogen phosphate. Sodium dihydrogen phosphate, disodium hydrogen phosphate. Still these are having replaceable hydrogens, and so these two are treated as acidic salts. In this way, we can try to write the acidic salt and basic salt basing on the situation there, whether it is having replaceable hydrogen or not. And finally, we have to take one more acid that is already discussed there, that is tetrabasic acid. That is tetrabasic acid. In this case, equivalent of acid is equal to basicity 4. So, m by 4. It may become m by 3. It may become m by 2. It may become m by 1. When the tetrabasic acid you are taking, depending upon the mode of the liquid reaction represented there, equivalent acid may be varying. And so, in the case of tetrabasic acid, like H4B2O7, pyrophosphoric acid. The equivalent of the acid depending upon the nature of the reaction, mode of the reaction, mode of neutralization. Here we will be having equivalent weight in the form of m by 4, m by 3, m by 2, m by 1. In the examination, it may be asked the equivalent weight of phosphoric acid, for example. Equivalent of phosphoric acid is molecular weight by 3, A. Molecular weight by 2, molecular weight by 1, 3. And D bit any one of these or all of these. That is correct. You cannot opt the single one. Suppose the equation is given, basing on the equation you have to decide the equivalent weight. M by 3, m by 2, m by 1, etc. If it is not given, maybe chances may be there to write m by 2, m by 3, m by 1 like that. So basing on that you have to opt the bit for such multiple choice bits. And next we have to consider the equivalent weights of bases. Now, let us consider the equivalent weight of the bases also. A base is that one which is young OH minus ions and can be produced in water. So, here equivalent weight of the base is equal to molecular weight of the base by acidity of the base. Here the N factor is acidity of the base. What do you mean by acidity? Number of replaceable OH groups per molecule of the base which can be replaced by acid. That is acidity of the base. So what is meant by acidity of the base? Number of replaceable OH groups per molecule of the base by an acid is called acidity of the base. Just like acids, here also we will be having monoacidic bases, diacidic bases, triacidic bases like that. For example, we can take monoacidic bases. All the first A group metallic hydroxides are monoacidic bases. They are having only one OH group, and of course these are all strong bases. These are water soluble bases. Water soluble bases are also called alkalis. All these are very strong. These are alkalis also. And of course, ammonium hydroxide is also water soluble. It is also monoacidic base, but this is the famous example for weak base. All those are strong bases. Water soluble weak base example, that is equal to NH4OH. Similarly, you can take diacidic bases. Second A group metallic hydroxides are having the formula MOH twice. They are diacidic bases because two OH groups are present per molecule. You can take MgOH twice, CaOH twice, SrOH twice, BaOH twice. Most of the D block metallic hydroxides are also this category. Zinc hydroxide, copper hydroxide, ferrous hydroxide, nickel hydroxide, cobalt hydroxide, like this. We will be having many acidic bases, diacidic bases. These are some examples. And don't forget, most of the diacidic bases, all these are mostly insoluble in water. And that is why, as they are insoluble in water, particularly these are treated as weak bases. Similarly, you can take triacidic bases where the molecule will contain 3 OH groups, and those 3 OH groups can be replaced by an acid. The best examples are aluminum hydroxide and ferric hydroxide. These are insoluble in water, but you can prove the basic character by making a reaction with the acid. For example, you can take AlOH thrice, react with the acid, giving you AlCl3 plus 3H2O. And that is why this is basic in nature. It is able to react with the acid. Though it is insoluble in water, it is able to react with the acid, giving you salt and water. And so this is base. All the 3 OH groups are replaced there. 3 OH groups are taken by 3H plus ions, and so it is a triacidic base. Similarly, FeOH thrice. All these are examples for triacidic bases, or diacidic bases, and monoacidic bases. And if you consider the equivalent weight of, for example, sodium hydroxide, molecular weight by 1. This is having acidity of the base is equal to 1, molecular weight is equal to 40, by the base, acidity of the base is equal to 1, so it is equal to 40. Similarly, you can take any one for monoacidic acidic bases, always electron weight is equal to molecular weight. On the other hand, if you take EMgOH twice, so this is equal to always m by 1, where m is the molecular weight. E of MgOH twice is equal to, it may be m by 2 or m by 1, depending upon the nature of reaction there. When you take MgOH twice reaction with HCl 1:1 ratio, then you will get here MgOHCl plus H2O. Only one OH is replaced by Cl. It is taken away by H. And so this is what you call magnesium hydroxychloride. Still it is having one basic group which can be replaced, and that is why this is called basic salt. This is what you call basic salt. Similarly, you can take here MgOH twice plus 2HCl. You can take here MgCl2 plus 2H2O. This is complete neutralization. This is magnesium chloride. This is what you call normal salt because it is having no more OH groups. So in this way we are having basic salt and normal salt depending upon the mode of neutralization. In this case only one OH is replaced by Cl. So in this case here equivalent weight of MgOH twice is equal to molecular weight by 1. What is the molecular weight? OH 17 into 2 34 plus 24 58. So this is equal to 58 by 1 is equal to 58. In this case the acidity, all the two OH groups are replaced by H plus ions, and so here you will get here in this case equivalent weight of magnesium hydroxide in the second case is equal to Mw by 2. So this is equal to 58 by 2 is equal to 29. In this way you can consider, even you can take equivalent weight of aluminum hydroxide. In what manner it will be existing? It may be m by 3 or m by 2 or m by 1. You can take several examples for this. So in the case of bases also we are having normal salts as well as basic salts. In the case of bases, what is the equivalent weight? The equivalent weight may be depending upon the acidity of the base. If the acidity is equal to 3, then the equivalent weight is equal to m by 3, m by 2, m by 1. If the acidity of the base is equal to 2, then the equivalent weight is equal to m by 2 or m by 1. If the acidity of the base is equal to only 1, then equivalent weight is equal to molecular weight. Equivalent weight is equal to molecular weight 1. So both are equal. In this way, we can assign the equivalent weights for any acid, any base. Particularly, neutralization reaction you have to consider whether it is partial or complete. If it is complete, you will get full equivalent weight. If it is partial, it may be differing. Like m by 3, m by 2, m by 1, etc. When it is m by 4, m by 3, m by 2, m by 1 is possible. When it is m by 2, m by 2, m by 1 is possible. When it is only m by 1, there is only one equivalent weight, there is no other variation at all. So in this way, we can ascertain the equivalent weights for acids and bases, which are nothing but a part of neutralization reactions. Next, we have to, in the next class, we have to consider the equivalent weights of oxidizing agents and reducing agents. That is also very peculiar, more important. So, with this, we are stopping the discussion. Thank you very much for your kind hearing. At the same time, on appeal, please subscribe my channel, namely GSS Chemistry channel. GSS Chemistry channel is single word, single phrase. So please subscribe my channel. Thank you very much. We will meet in the next class, namely part 3 of equivalent weight. With that, the equivalent weight concept is completely closed. It will be completed rather better.